What's going on, you guys? My name's Ty Knots, and welcome to Top 5 Unknowns. 5 videos that should not exist. Number 5. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children states that over 800,000 children go missing in the United States each year. Some of those children are abducted by relatives, some by strangers, and others simply get lost wandering around on their own. Very few of these children, however, have footage of a nearby security camera to capture the exact moment that they were taken away. Salem Sabatka, an 8-year-old girl, was snatched up by a cruel stranger just outside of her Texas home. The young, vibrant, and innocent girl was taking an evening walk outside with her mother in front of their Fort Worth neighborhood early in the evening. Salem and her mother leisurely stroll through the neighborhood before a strange car suddenly stops next to them in the street. In a matter of seconds, a large man rushes out of the car and aggressively grabs Salem, throwing her into the back seat before driving off. Salem's mother did what any loving mom would do, and jumped into the car before the driver was able to speed off. At this point, the footage comes into play. The video was captured by the doorbell camera of a close neighbor. The short 20-second clip shows the unknown vehicle pulling away as Salem's mother falls onto the curb of the street. Apparently, she was pushed out by the abductor, and unfortunately, he was able to get away. However, this security camera footage came in handy during the investigation and search for Salem. As word began to spread like wildfire of the girl's disappearance, citizens became vigilant. A group of churchgoers that happened to be staying at a nearby hotel offered to help look for her. In no more than a few minutes, police officers were able to track down the room that the car owner was staying in. From there, officers busted down the room door and found Salem, scared yet safe and alive. Salem was returned to her family, and her kidnapper, a 51-year-old Michael Webb, was charged with felony kidnapping. If it weren't for this rare video footage, the ending to this story might not have been so happy. Number 4. Anyone that has experienced the loss of a loved one knows how strong the urge is to see them again. That's what some viewers believe has happened to the woman that shared this video. Others, however, agree that this footage is actually groundbreaking evidence of the existence of supernatural beings and spirits. The video was posted by SWNS TV in May of 2019. As of June of 2019, it only has about 400 views, but something this shocking is bound to gain higher numbers in no time. SWNS TV describes this 20-second clip as being submitted by a grieving woman who lost her best friend, her dog, just 3 weeks prior to this footage. To make matters even sadder, she also lost her father in February of 2012. Her father was 83 and the dog had just recently fallen ill. The woman, named Linda Newman, shared that on the night the video was recorded, she went to bed cuddled up with her dog Boomer's favorite blanket. As she drifted off to sleep, she clinched a photo of her father and told him, "Look after Boomer until we meet again." The next day, as Linda reviewed her security footage, a normal habit of hers, she came across this scene that brought her to tears. The camera is set up in a clearly high position, so it looks out onto the front yard of Linda's home, as well as the driveway and a decent portion of the nearby street. The clip provided is only 20 seconds long and seems to occur very quickly. If you watch the bottom right region of the frame, you almost instantly see a white glowing mass move into the shot. After floating around on the screen, the unidentifiable figure walks toward the screen and then disappears, either losing visibility or simply walking out of the frame. The figure seen initially just appears to be a round orb of light measuring about 5 feet tall and a few feet across. If you slow down the footage though and pay more careful attention, you can start to uncover the shapes of 2 arms and 2 legs, moving forward in the walking motion such as a man. Linda claims that this is the spirit of her father, and she also insists that the near apparition of her father, there's a second mass of light, this one much shorter and instead standing on 4 legs. Overall, Linda claims that in her heart, she knows that it was her father and her beloved dog shown in the video. Number 3. In early 2011, an earthquake of a 9.0 magnitude shook the Pacific coast of Tohoku, Japan. It was measured as the most powerful earthquake in Japan and the 4th most powerful earthquake since the beginning of modern record keeping in the 1900s. Not only did the initial shock of the earthquake cause structural damage and spark landslides in mountain regions and fires in the city, but it also sparked the waves of a tsunami, which did not hesitate to blow through and add to the disastrous scene. During the tragic tsunami, the mainland was aggressively swept over, and over 10,000 people lost their lives, with another 6,000 to 10,000 suffering minor or serious injuries. In addition, about 2,500 people were declared missing, many of which have still never been found. But the tsunami didn't stop with its run of destruction there. It also caused nuclear accidents, primarily the level 7 meltdowns at 3 nuclear reactors in Fukushima. As a result of the failed cooling systems, radioactive material was released between March 12th and March 15th. This footage comes from a news report immediately following the earthquake, which sparked the release of chemicals. What we're being shown here is one of few hydrogen explosions that led to the release of the radioactive materials in the atmosphere. Although the video is grainy, you can clearly see the eruption when it fills the air with hazardous gases. Fukushima was deemed one of the most significant and tragic nuclear incidents since Chernobyl, back in 1986. Additionally, Fukushima was labeled the only other disaster to be granted Level 7 event class, issued by the International Nuclear Event Scale. 2 employees died at the scene, and 6 employees suffered radiation exposure over the lifetime limit, and at least 1 died of cancer in relation to the disaster. Perhaps it's a good thing that we were able to use technology as a way to document this and other disasters. However, the idea of people able to watch the video from nearly 8 years ago as one of history's biggest disasters seems a bit chilling. Perhaps this video too should not exist. Number 2. The Chernobyl disaster occurred in April of 1986. A Soviet reactor type was undergoing a regular safety test to simulate a power outage in an effort to create safety procedures to keep the reactor cool during the event of an actual power outage. While this was a typical safety test, it led to history's largest power plant disaster. Due to a series of setbacks during the testing, one of which being a 10-hour delay in the performance of the test, a nuclear chain reaction was the result. A mass, deadly amount of energy was released. That energy instantly vaporized a collection of superheated cooling water, which ruptured the reactor pressure vessel in a dangerous and destructive steam explosion. The steam explosion was instantly followed by fire, and from there, the fire burned and emitted updrafts for as long as 9 days, as emergency teams and plant employees fought to stop or slow it down. Radioactive chemicals were released into nearby areas, affecting most people on site and others living within the region. The exact number of related casualties has been a bit of a debate over the years, with some studies accounting for more or less than others. In addition, some victims may have yet to be found, and others may have had injuries that didn't legally relate their death to the disaster. Various attempts to calculate the number of victims have been ranged from 4,000 to 200,000. The important part of this disaster, for this video's sake, is the release of those radioactive chemicals. While contact with some of the substances in question may not realistically turn people into animals or into the Hulk or some other fantasy creature, the level released during Chernobyl has never been studied or even encountered before. And given the fact that most victims died before being able to exhibit long-term symptoms, there's no solid way to describe what may have happened to a survivor. This video shows what is allegedly a mutated animal sometime after the Chernobyl disaster. The 50-second clip begins by showing the region where the Chernobyl power plant in question was located. As the camera, likely a drone, pans to the right where there's a wooded region and desolated train tracks, all of a sudden a large brown and four-legged animal rustles about in a tree-covered area and leaps over the train tracks. At first glance, it appears to be a moose or a horse or some form of cattle, but as the video clears up, it's very obvious that something isn't quite right about the creature. They seem to most closely resemble a moose, if a moose had a significantly shorter neck and no horns. From the way these creatures bound about, they seem healthy. It just seems that their appearance is what's offsetting. Some viewers believe that this footage is the result of wildlife that had been near the disaster and has continued to thrive after the city was left nearly totally abandoned. Number 1. We've all seen the usual ghostly encounters that go viral on the web. Most of the time, it's grown male spirits, haunting old locations and large cemeteries of their still living loved ones. Once in a while, we'll be given the cliche of a ghost bride or the tortured soul of a mother. Something that's quite rare, though, is the tortured soul of an infant, haunting their living mother. This clip was uploaded by Inside Edition in June of 2018. It apparently shows the ghostly apparition of an unborn baby, and has gained over 400,000 views since it was posted. The clip begins in the middle of the night in a pitch-black room. Melissa Smith, the mother who was affected, put her baby down to sleep in her crib and went off to bed. The next morning, she was reviewing the baby monitor footage to check how her child was sleeping. What she found startled her and caused her to run over to her friend's house, who instructed her to run and move out immediately. The footage shows the woman's sleeping infant peacefully lying and rolling around in the crib, as most babies do. If you look above the baby, near the outside of the crib though, you can see a ghostly baby face staring into the crib and into your soul. Smith reported to Inside Edition that not long after this video was taken, she suffered a devastating miscarriage. The very same day of the tragic incident, she also claimed that a random child's toy turned itself on in another room, and that countless other creepy occurrences have haunted her home ever since. No matter what you believe in this case, you can agree that the ghostly little face staring blankly into the void is certainly less than friendly. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep updated with our videos.